and welcome back to Granted Gardens. My name is Melissa, and today we're going to do a little bit of harvesting. We're trying to get back in the swing of things from our vacation for the wedding, and it's just been bits and pieces. I've been trying to tackle a little bit at a time. We need to do something about these Thai peppers today, so that's on the docket. But I'm also going through and just picking some of the last of our tomatoes that are still growing up here on the deck. My cherry tomatoes are dying off. I got one big one here. It's been split, but it'll still be good. My cherry tomatoes are definitely dying back, but I'm getting a little bit of a harvest out of them still. I think we're gonna just let them ride out because there are still flowers on here as well. And we're just gonna let them go until they die. And we're just gonna get whatever we can out of them, I think, for this part of the season. It's kind of sad to watch everything die back, but we're still getting some good ones. And look, finally having some success with lettuce. Oh my word. Lettuce has been an ongoing struggle for me this year. It wasn't that great last year either. A few years ago, we had a ginormous, pot full of lettuce that just did amazing, and I've had goals to recreate that non-stop over the last couple of years, and I've not made it yet, but this one looks fairly promising, so I'm excited about that. So as I'm going through and picking what is pretty much going to be pretty close to our final harvest, I've been trying to work on saving seeds, which you saw me doing earlier in this video. One thing that I was avid about saving seeds for this year was my noodle beans, my red Chinese noodle beans. They're my favorite to grow just because they're so pretty. I really like them. Tyler's not a fan. He doesn't like beans that make the squishy feeling, the squeaky feeling on your teeth. But they're really pretty, and so this year when I planted my first round, I went back to plant my second round and I realized I didn't have any seeds. I had to look everywhere to try and find some that were for sale, and everyone was sold out. So I saved a ton of my noodle bean seeds this year, just in case for next year. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about these guys right here. These are Thai peppers. I grow these every single year, and everyone just raves about them. They're very prolific. They're not too big of a plant, and you get a ton of peppers out of them. Now these are a little on the spicy side. They've got some heat to them. There's a lot of different recipes that you can make with Thai peppers, but my favorite thing to do with them is to dry them and then to grind them up into like a powder or like pepper flakes, and I put them on things. So today I'm going to show you guys how I harvest my Thai peppers and how I dry them. So this is just one plant. You can see it's not too large, but it's definitely fully loaded. And so what I'm looking for is these red guys, the ones that are totally red. I'll go ahead and harvest them. The green ones I will leave and let them turn red. But if you pick them at a green stage, they just won't be quite as spicy. Now it would probably be wise to do this with gloves because there is a bit of heat here. But I didn't do gloves. So we're just going to go through and snip these off. And I just snip them with a little bit of a stem there so that I can try to have something to hold on to while I'm stringing them. Now when I string them, I typically use like a plastic string, something really heavy duty, like a fishing line kind of concept, and a needle. And I'll just put the needle through. I try and pierce it through the green part so that it's not interfering with the actual pepper itself. I'll try to pierce that needle through that green, and I string them up in strands of about 2 to 3 feet long, just because that way it's manageable. You could go ahead and do it as long as you want to, but then you kind of struggle with it getting twisted and tied up on each other, and it can be kind of a pain in the butt to untangle if you get to that point. Just got through with the one Thai pepper on the deck. When I was planting for this year, I honestly thought that I only planted one Thai pepper plant, and I was okay with that because they are so prolific. But once we started seeing what was growing, I realized I had more than one plant. So we're gonna head over into the big garden and get the rest from here. The other thing that's really great about Thai peppers is that you're gonna end up with a lot of seeds. So if you do stuff like plant swaps or seed swaps, this is a great plant to use for that purpose because you're going to get so many seeds out of it that it makes it a lot easier for you to share seeds with your friends. So it looks like I had a total of 4 plants. Check out this harvest. So I took all of the really, really red ones and I left any of them that still were maturing or that were still green. So we've got probably 2 or 3 more harvests from these plants still, but I'm happy with what we have here. While we're out here, we'll stop off and get some eggs. Alright, so this next part, this is going to take you a little while. So I recommend that you get comfortable on the couch, find a good movie to watch, put on gloves, which I'm not doing, and get ready to be sitting for a while. So I just want to show you guys what it is that I'm using. This is the string that I'm using, so it's just a clear, heavy like plastic kind of situation. And then a regular sewing needle. And what I do first is I thread it. There are probably better ways to do this. And then I usually just kind of go through the first pepper twice to make sure that it's not going to slide off. So you kind of want to knot it here. So I got my first pepper, my threaded needle, and I'm going to try my best to go through the green part and avoid piercing the red pepper, the actual pepper itself. The reason for that is that if you pierce the red pepper, you could be introducing bacteria and whatnot. But if you don't have any other choice but to pierce the pepper, I've pierced the peppers and they've been fine. So just going to string this and continue until I'm finished. So I lied. It's not the first pepper that I pierce. Or it's not the first pepper that I tie a knot on. I just leave this connected so that I can go as long as I want. And then when I'm done is when I will go back. I'll cut the string and then I'll knot it on this pepper so that they don't slide off.
And I've got a little bit left, but it's like smaller stems. So I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with those. If I want to make pesto or if I want to hang those too. But in the meantime, I already had like a few rounds drying of basil, and they're completely dry now.
So this is what it ended up looking like. So I did it a little differently. I actually just tied the ends together and made a circle out of it this time. Usually I just do one strand, but this is what they look like. Now what's fun about this is an excellent way to get them to dry out, but it's also really kind of like cool decorations if you want to hang it somewhere. We always hang ours. So there they are. So pretty. So I'm gonna actually take you over to where the ones are hanging from last year. I realized that I didn't process these and they're still sitting here, but here this is. So there's ours from last year. I think we've got a different kind of pepper here. I think those are shishito maybe that I have hanging, but these ones here are definitely the Thai peppers. So we're gonna swap these out. Alright, so the perk of doing this and having these from last year is I get to show you guys like the next step of like how I actually process them. So I've got my peppers here that I harvested last year and dried. And so what I'm going to do is once they're super dry, they're really easy to break into. I literally just snap off the little green part and you're going to get something like this. Now, what's important here is to save your seeds, right? You want to make sure you're saving your seeds. So you're going to kind of open up the top here and just dump out, or you can even like crack in half and dump out the seeds so that you're saving them. And I didn't get a plate, but I'll do it here on in this little envelope. So I just snapped it in half, and you can dump out your seeds. There's quite a few in there. That's just from one pepper. So you want to make sure you save these. This would also be a step that you would probably be better off using gloves for, but I'm already knee deep in this, so here we go. So all that just from one pepper. Okay, so I made it through the whole strand. I collected the seeds here in this little envelope. Let's see if I can show you guys. Quite a bit, right? There's quite a bit there. I kind of like the idea of doing it on an envelope because then I can just kind of like tilt it. There you be. Nice and easy. Alright, so I collected my seeds. I have this little thing here. It's called a magic bullet. It's like a tiny blender. So I put all of my peppers that I cracked and emptied the seeds in here. Now, I'm not like really picky about getting all the seeds out. I do have some seeds left. I also like the really tiny peppers I didn't bother cracking open. So I've got, this is all of them in there. There are some seeds in there, no problem. I'm going to just hook this up and blend it so that they're nice little flaky size. I just like to keep all of my stuff in a mason jar. I have a tiny mason jar here. I'm gonna just open this up and pour it in, and then I'll put a lid on this, and that's how I'll store them. There you have it. And I literally will put this on virtually everything. I've put it on top of deviled eggs. I've done it with chicken. All of my pastas, all of my pizzas. Anytime I make pasta sauce, it goes in there. Anytime I make soup, it goes in. It's just a little bit of heat. It's really great on French fries. I mean, you can literally use this on everything. So, you know, even from that little strand, that's a good bit of seasoning to get from that little strand. And that was probably half the amount of what we stranded today. So I will probably have, you know, double that once I use up what we have that we strung together today. Now, like I said, I let them dry out thoroughly. You want them to be crisp and entirely dry, like to the point where when you squish them, they crack open. You want to make sure that they're totally dry before you do this, because if there is any kind of moisture in this and you go through this process and you put a lid on this and store it, it will mold. So making sure it's dry is really important. You don't need to wait an entire year. Like that was, I'll be honest, it just got forgotten. That's not necessary, but making sure it's entirely dry will be important. So that's my takeaway for today. I'm super excited. Now I gotta go make something for dinner and find something to put this on. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon.